Remember, this reality works off of opposites, okay? The only way that anything functions to its full capacity is if two opposites come together, merge together as one, all right? They say that opposites attract, but actually there is no such thing as opposites. An opposite, what we perceive to be opposite, is literally something that we have yet to understand, right? Because once you understand what you consider to be opposite, you begin to see how much in common you actually have with it. People are very quick to judge what people are doing without really asking why and understanding why. In your relationship, you are going to encounter variables in your partner's personality that you think are opposite of yourself, right? And there's certain elements in the relationship that you have yet to find that common ground on. And that's what's hindering growth. The same thing in a team of business partners, okay? Without each member of that team settling, excuse me, putting their differences aside and coming together as one, rather than looking at each other as the opposites, and this person has this strengths and he's underqualified here, and I'm this person, I deserve this position, etc., etc. Then if you don't settle those differences, then there's going to be no growth, right? It's the team's going to fall apart. It just doesn't work. Same thing in family, okay? You have family, especially if you have a big family, okay? Even if you don't, though, it doesn't matter, because this is common, right? In all situations, is that you have family members that for whatever reason you just you get upset at, or you avoid, or you just don't like, because there are certain things about them that you feel are opposite of you, right? But until you understand those people and why they do what they do, then the family as a unit isn't going to function properly. And there's going to be conflict. There's going to be subcultures within the family. There's going to be all sorts of unnecessary, immature manifestations of that, right? So I could tell you in my relationship too, it's like, man, my my girl used to say all the time, it's like, there's so much things that are just opposite about you, that I feel I'm so different, et cetera, et cetera. Especially her being of Christian faith, right? And me being more on the esoteric side of things. Until we started to really vibe with the things that we have in common and started to build on those and bridge that gap and actually see how similar our spiritual beliefs were, that is when we started to grow, right? We started to grow once we put forth an effort to understand each other, rather than holding ourselves back by thinking we're so special, exclusive, and the other person is opposite, right? So I hope this message is coming loud and clear, because everybody can relate to this in some way, shape, or form. So experiment with it. If you have a belief system that you think is opposite of you, look into it. Look into opposing views. Find out where there are things that you actually agree with in that opposing view, because that's the building blocks to growth. You start to understand your opposite, and then all of a sudden you realize the opposite shit has some truth to it. And then you change your beliefs and you grow, you evolve, you alter your DNA, right? So if you are in a work environment, same thing there. Understand your coworkers. Family, understand them. Don't judge them. Don't be so quick to judge. Really get to know them on that level, so you clearly empathize and can understand why they do what the fuck they do. Last but not least, the relationships. So many relationships end because people just refuse to accept certain elements about their partner, their personality, things that they can't relate to. It's petty at the end of the day, right? You don't want to understand it. Just that plain and simple. Because the only time something is perceived as opposite is when the viewing party refuses to understand it. So start understanding and stop judging.